A grain of wheat. Jesus this morning likens our individual lives as a grain of wheat. And we have opportunities in this life to go in a few different directions. And maybe we end up as a grain of wheat to become a part of a loaf of bread, I suppose, or we can fall to the ground and become a large wheat field. In any event, there is a lot of opportunity for our lives to be fruitful and to make a difference in this world. And part of it has to do with our ability to imagine beyond the bounds of our everyday experience, to recognize that and to feel and to sense that the Spirit is coming to us and through us, allowing us to experience the fullness of God's love and then to begin to share it with the world. Well, today in John's gospel, we see kind of a shift in the ministry of Jesus. There are some people that want to visit with him, but all of a sudden, and Jesus has his handlers talking to these people, but I get the impression he's not interested in talking to any more people at this point in time. He is shifting his attention to what is going to follow. He recognizes that he's been in Jerusalem for a few days and he's been disturbing the peace, and he knows that forces are coalescing to ultimately bring him into a type of a trial that will lead to his crucifixion. He knows that this is going to happen. This is the way it works in the ancient Near East, where the Romans are controlling the situation. If you disturb the peace, which Jesus has done, you will get crucified. And he has a lot of angst about that. He's not excited about it. He's frightened about it, but he knows that to really stimulate the justice and to stimulate the ministry that God has given him, he must take this all the way in and suffer the consequences. And I think this morning about when Jesus is on the cross, he suffering, and he says out loud, he says, "Father, forgive them, for they really don't understand what they're doing." And I'm thinking that maybe Jesus is thinking this to himself. We don't see the words recorded, and how much can you even think when you're dying on a cross? But he might be thinking, I've given this thing the best shot I could. And I'm looking out in front of me, and I don't see a lot of my disciples here. It feels, I don't know, it doesn't look good. I'm glad John's here and the two Marys are here. But I know this, and I believe this, that after I go, one, I believe the Spirit will come to all people. And I said to my disciples just a few weeks ago, I said, you are going to do greater things than I. I've got this thing started. It's gone as far as it can go. The injustices of Palestine remain. A few people have come into the flock, but there's a lot of work to do. But I believe that the people that follow me will do greater things than I. And not just this first generation of disciples, but generations and generations to follow. I believe they will take the great shalom and they'll move it forward, helping make this world more whole. And so we travel from Jesus' time all the way to 1958. In Winnipeg, Manitoba, there was a boy born. family moved to British Columbia. His name was Terry Fox. And Terry loved sports. He was a jock, if ever there was a jock. He loved to play basketball, baseball, run track, you name it. Terry loved sports. And he was not a great athlete by any stretch. I would give him maybe a C+ ability, but his desire and his intensity and the joy that he had for playing sports would move him into the performance rank of a B, on the verge of a B+. He graduated from high school and he went on to Simon Fraser, and his hope was to become a gym teacher. He just wanted to live the dream. He wanted to keep playing sports and doing these things, and it was really exciting for Terry. But what happened to him at the age of 18 or maybe 19, Terry got cancer and he lost a leg. And as you can imagine, to a kid who just absolutely loves sports, to lose a leg was almost the kiss of death, you know? He suffered for a while. He struggled to reimagine his meaning. He was going to be a gym teacher. He was going to do these things. And he just, he couldn't figure it out. But anyway, Terry starts to reorder his life. And he was on the wheelchair basketball team, and he was national champion in Canada for 3 years. So, which was an interesting piece, but he decided he was going to take up running, and he learned how to run on one good leg and one prosthetic leg, and he was, practicing, and then he hatches a plan to run across Canada to raise money for cancer. You see, Terry, he in his work and as he was evolving, he was meeting young kids, 8 years old, 7, 9, who had lost their legs as well, and it just broke his heart. And he saw a problem, and he said, "Doggone it, I want to try to do something about this." So he hatches a plan to run across Canada to raise money for cancer. Well, he starts in Newfoundland, and the first, 4 or 5 weeks of this run, and every single day, Terry would hobble 25, 26 miles. He just, slow, methodical. And the first 5, 6 weeks, he was viewed more as a nuisance to the local authorities. And, what's this kid doing? He's clogging up the track, whatever. And he just kept grinding it week after week, raised a few bucks, getting a little bit discouraged, but he's got dogged determination. Then finally, someone of great power sees and understands what he's doing, is amazed, and all of a sudden, the support starts coming in. The crowds start growing. Terry Fox becomes a bit of a national story, and even kind of an international story at a certain point. This kid just keeps going and going. It's now over 100 days and over 2,500 miles, and he keeps going, and he's talking to people. He's giving little talks and this and that, and he's just stimulating the Canada with a sense of pride and hope. And then finally, Terry, he's over 150 days into this thing, and he senses something is going wrong within him. And finally, one day, he gets up in his trailer and he gets ready to run, and there's a big crowd out there waiting for him, probably 300-400 people waiting for him to start. And he gets out, he takes maybe 3 steps, and then he tells his people, "You got to take me to the hospital." So they took Terry to the hospital, and then the next day, Terry gave a little bit of a press conference, and he said, the cancer is spread throughout my lungs. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to finish the run or not, but he said, if there's any way that I can, I will. So he goes back home to British Columbia, and he dies a couple months later, I think right before the age of 23. A kid who would have been a great gym teacher and be fruitful and help a lot of children. But that spirit, the Spirit of God, worked in him in a powerful way. And he made a major difference in Canada and throughout the world in a very real way. If you Google the 10 most influential people in the history of Canada, Terry will be either number 1 or 2. He is beloved to this very day. He inspires all kinds of wonderful work, not only in cancer research, but volunteer involvement. His energy, his drive, his compassion stimulated God love throughout Canada. And it's a tremendous example of how to be fruitful and multiply. Well, here we are, 2021 at St. John Lutheran Church. And you know, this past year, you have been fruitful. This ministry has continued. You have loved one another. You have kept your head above water. We've struggled in different ways, individually and collectively. It's not been easy. We know that, but we have not given up. You have not given up. And one of the things I trust that you know, just like Terry Fox or anyone else, each one of us are remarkably gifted and capable of amazing things. Maybe not running across Canada, but we have been given God's love. And as we are willing to accept it and not try to go it alone, not try to have all the answers, but just open our arms to that love and that compassion, mercy, justice, and forgiveness, and recognize our lives matter, and not to give in to the negativity and all the other stuff that's out there sometimes. And to find ways to share that love with others. And we can do it in simple ways or bigger ways. But it starts with hope. It starts with faith. It starts with trust. It starts with recognizing that in front of us is an amazing opportunity to share God's love with the world and to be inspired to do so, to be that much more fruitful. Whether we end up as a loaf of bread or a wheat field, whatever, we have an opportunity to truly make a difference in this world. And I know each one of you are already doing that, and I am confident that each one of you will do even that much more in the days to come. Amen.